So we are back here with another video, man. This is going to be an in-depth video talking about just kind of the game mode as a whole, man. We're going to be talking about, you guys might be wondering, what does this title mean? Well, is NBA 2K26 My Team as good as NBA 2K20 through NBA 2K22 My Team? No, I recognize that. But kind of one of the main topics of this video, and we're going to talk about a lot of other things as well, but is going to be kind of people living in the past with this game. And what I mean by that is a lot of these complaints that I am seeing stem from kind of lust and nostalgia for past versions of my team, as well as just straight burnout, man. Some people are so burnt out on my team because they haven't taken a break since like 2K19, which I definitely recommend it, man. If you're getting sick of playing this, go play another game. You know, find your joy in life again. You know, I've done that quite a few times, and I'm fresh. So that is why I am enjoying NBA 2K26 My Team. And there are also a lot of other things that we're going to talk about that are kind of an L on 2K's part. This isn't all just going to be talking about complaints and telling people why they're wrong or stuff like that. I'm also going to talk a lot about some things that I think are not being done well. So we're just going to talk about, we're going to go really in depth, man. It's going to be a long video, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Of course, like I said, we have some comments to look at. I've got some thoughts of my own, and this should be good, man. So before we do get into it, please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. That is always very, very much appreciated. Thank you guys so much for the support recently. Let's try and make a push towards 1,000 subs. Once I do get to 1,000 subs, as you guys know, if you've been subscribed for a while, we will be doing a big giveaway. So don't miss out, man. But without further ado, let's get into it, man. So with the Dunktober set that dropped today, I am really not a big fan of them not doing like an event of sorts. Like in 2K24 is what I'm thinking of. I think it was actually, they did this last year too. There was an event surrounding Dunktober. People are calling this an event. This is not an event. I'm talking about one of those type of events where after every win, you get one of those packs or something. Like one of those packs that contains either a random player, maybe a random consumable. Gives people kind of some incentive to really grind through the weekend, you know, win some games and get some of those packs and everything, man. And they didn't. I was hoping that they would do that for Dunktober this year. They obviously have not done that. This Pink Diamond T-Mac is the worst value card I've ever seen because, as you guys know, if you watched my video right before this, I have used this card. I had the Hidden Gem version. This card is not it, man. This card is not it. There's no way he's worth 4 million MT. I don't even think I'd pay 500k MT for this card if he wasn't even a lock-in because I've used so many better shooting guards this year, man. So, yeah. But if we look at these other two, these are very, very doable, no money spent. You can get Zion for under 200k MT, and you can get Mac McClung for almost free if you haven't locked in any of those wild gems that you've been getting for free on Tuesdays. Mac McClung is very attainable. Is he an elite card? No, but he's a card that you can have a lot of fun with. So I am glad that they threw in a couple of these. I'm glad that they made Zion somewhat attainable too, because they could have made Zion a card that was a little bit more pay to get type of card, and people would have still went out and got him. I'm glad that he's cheap. I mean, under 200k, still a lock-in, but very, very attainable if you want to use Zion, man. And I think that he is a good card because after the patch came out, that kind of the shooting patch and everything, rim running is way, way more important than it was before that. So I think Zion's good, but T-Mac, definitely a big L. No event, definitely a big L. So as far as game modes go, there's a lot of people that have been talking about past game modes and everything. You know, I think the better thing to do would just be to start going through these comments, man, before I start really talking about the game modes and everything. So let's get started. Let's get into the comments. Let's see what people have to say. The first comment we have here is saying that if DBG or Most Ballin were kind of in charge of what they do with the game mode would be better as a whole and everyone would enjoy it. Is that true to a certain extent? Yes. There would be much more free content There's no doubt about that. There would be 1,000,002 agendas that you could do for random rubies and amethysts and sapphires. Some people obviously are really into that. I didn't realize so many people were into that until they took those away. And I guess there's just a lot of people that love to do agendas in my team, way more than I, knew was the case. So that is, I mean, there would be all kinds of those available if DBG or my team were in charge, DBG or Most Ballin were in charge of the mode. The one thing that I think about with this though, is there are a lot of comments of people saying, if every card is accessible, everyone's going to be running the same team and there's no point in getting the best cards because everybody has them, and I'd rather not grind out for a card that little Timmy is going to have. And I think that there is some merit to that point. Now, hear me out. If Jack Sigma, Jason Kidd, and Glenn Rice say, so for Breakout, this is the example I'm going to use. For Breakout, you need to get 250 triple threat wins and 250 clutch time wins to get one of those 3 pink diamonds or the pink diamond hidden gem pack. If it was like 100 triple threat offline wins, you'd be seeing about 5 or 10 times the amount of Sigmas, and then it would not feel as good to have Sigma if you did grind him out. So I do get that. I get, some people saying they can't make it too easy, whatever. I understand that. And we're going to get into some of that with the market as well, too, because there's just a lot of people that don't understand how the market works. So we'll get into that later in the video, man. But that is kind of overall, I do recognize, though, I think this is a good comment because if DBG or Most Spawn, which would never happen, by the way, but if they were in charge with the game mode would be better as a whole. Would the game mode be making as much money, though? No, it wouldn't be. That's kind of the other thing that needs to be said. So everyone kind of is still talking about the no free 10-pack box and the nerf to game modes. Now, I have a take on this that I don't know if it's 100% true, but I'm about 99% sure that it is true, man. And that is that this was all pre-planned. They had the blueprint for this game mode kind of laid out months in advance. A lot of people are saying that their pack sales were hurting in week 1 and 2. That's why they took away everything. I don't believe that that is the case. I believe that this was all on the blueprint. Do I believe that everything was good week 1 and 2 to make more people buy the game? Yes, I would 100% do. But a lot of people think that their pack sales are hurting. That's why they're doing these things. No, I don't believe that that is the case. Because realistically, if you think about it, 2K isn't the smartest when it comes to getting, money from people. I mean, let's just tell it how it is. There's other things they could be doing too. But I mean, if this was the case where they were struggling to make money, and I know that they're not. I've researched it, we've talked about the value of their stock, all of that kind of stuff. They're making plenty of money, man. There's about 12 51-pack boxes being opened each hour. $1,200 an hour on average, and of course that number is going to go way up on Fridays, right when packs drop, all this and that, man. So the kind of thing is with this is I think it was all a blueprint. I think it was all, already planned out. They're not struggling to make money off of this game. They're not. And if they were, they wouldn't be doing things such as actively nerfing modes and punishing the player base. What they would be doing is dropping more packs. That is what they would be doing. They could easily drop another super pack on Wednesday. They could easily drop, other promos on like Monday or whenever. That is what they would be doing if their pockets were hurting. I don't know why they don't do that anyway, because that would make them just even more money. But hey, who am I to judge, man? So I missed the trophy case token market and budget cards. The market is so bad, it is insane. Okay, so trophy case was amazing. It got complained about so heavily at the time, though. That's why it's gone. People need to, I wish that people would have learned their lesson with this thing at the time, but it just is the way that it is. The trophy case was absolutely dogged on. That's why they got rid of it. Was the trophy case a W? Absolutely. The trophy case was so fun, man. Token market not being here, I mean, major L. I can agree on that. The token market was such a W. This is one of the main topics that I wanted to hit on this video, though. I think that there is a large amount of the player base that legitimately does not even realize that you can buy these wild gem cards on the auction house. I truly do. And the reason being is because of the amount of people that say that there's no budget cards in this game. And I've even commented back to some of these people and said, like, this guy addressed sapphires specifically. There's no good sapphires, whatever. There's 284 sapphires that you can buy, and all of them are going to be pretty much affordable. I mean, there's sapphires, man. You know, maybe there's like a sapphire shack randomly in there. It's like 50K for no reason, but most of them are going to be affordable. And by the way that this guy responded to me, I know that he didn't even have any idea that there was sapphires on the market, because a lot of casual players will just look at the season 1 tab and say, oh, there's not even any sapphires purchasable in the game. Well, I think that the wild gems, not the lock-ins are definitely talked about. There's no doubt about that. But all of these tiers, gold all the way through pink diamond, people don't realize that these cards are accessible or that they're, pretty well affordable and worth their price. The pink diamond wild gems, very expensive. There's no cheap pink diamonds in the game, but the pink diamond wild gems are some of the best value cards in the entire game, I'm telling you. Because there are pink diamond wild gems that are in the top 5 or 10 cards in the entire game, and nobody talks about them. And it's the same with diamonds. And then we talk about budget cards. I mean, maybe not golds. A lot of the golds I've looked at are pretty bad. But emerald all the way up through amethyst, there are some hidden gems in this wild gems tab, man. Don't be getting it confused with actual hidden gems. But there are some good cards that are very good price. And people just, I think, don't even know that these cards exist, or think that you have to pay to get them or something. I don't know what's going on. But the amount of people that like think that there are 0 budget cards in this game is kind of wild to me. It really, really is. We've got this guy saying that he misses limited and getting the ring in the limited game mode. So I think that we can all agree that salary cap is just an objectively better version of limited. Okay, because you can grind out this mode, you can get your season 1 exchange, get your pink diamond of your choice. Limited, if there are people that, maybe don't really remember, or people that didn't play in the days of limited, you had to get a ring once a week for all 5 or 6 weeks out of the season, and it was completely RNG based. Something that, again, was complained about super heavily at the time. So what would happen was you could get your ring, and it was like a door game, like how the door games are now, where there's 3 prizes available, and then you can choose left or right if you don't like the prize that pops up. One of the ring would sometimes be in one of those 3 spots, and you could either get trolled and choose the wrong spot and see, you choose left, you see it on the right, or it just wouldn't even be there at all. And there were situations where people were getting it in the middle spot on the first game, which was obviously ideal, and there were also cases where people were playing 25 or 30 limited games, which, yes, they were full lineup games, they were full length games, and not even seeing their ring. And another issue with limited was the rewards, especially towards the end of it, were not getting updated. So in later seasons, at the beginning of the season, you'd be like, I mean, there was like a Galaxy Opal Russell Westbrook that this happened with. You'd be looking and saying, okay, this card's pretty good at the beginning of the season, but then no one would get it until the end of the season. And at that point, 6 weeks have went by, and that card is already outdated. So limited had so many issues, man. And there's a lot of people kind of glazing limited and saying that they miss limited, all this and that. Salary cap is just an objectively better version of limited. It is. Because there's not really any restrictions in salary cap either. Yes, there is the restriction with salary, obviously. You can't be using a full lineup of diamonds or pink diamonds or anything. You need to be using lower tier cards. But some of the restrictions in limited, like you can only use certain heights, certain teams. Salary cap's just objectively way better. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. Okay, problem is you cannot do anything with your MT. The auction house is super overpriced and the odds are trash. So why grind the game for MT for nothing? So this gets into another point. There's people commenting that they have like 400 or 500K MT and there's nothing that you can buy. Yes, you probably can't afford a pink diamond with that much MT, but diamond or lower, there's not a single card that you couldn't afford. So this is one that I really don't understand. Yes, you're not going to be able to, afford some of these diamonds that they're throwing in the exchange now, but any diamond or lower that's not related to the exchange, you're going to be able to afford. And there's some really, really good, promo diamonds and amethysts. There's some really, really good emeralds through diamonds in the wild gems tab, man. I just don't understand why people are saying that there's nothing to do with their MT. No, you can't buy the pink diamonds. That's unfortunate, yet it's just the way it is, though. That's how the market works. And that kind of gets into another point that we are going to get to in a little bit. Um, there's this other guy talking about, I wish you could open up a 92 plus hidden gem for maybe around 250k MT. That's another thing that I recommended. That would be a major W if they added, hidden gem, wild gem packs in the pack market. You could open them for 200, 250k MT, maybe 500k for a pink diamond, maybe a little bit more, whatever the case may be. That would be a W. But what's happening is anything that is RNG based, which if you guys don't know what I mean by that, anything that is luck based in the past has gotten absolutely shafted on. And now we are in a situation where people are asking for all of these luck based things back. Maybe we shouldn't have complained about it at the time. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a genius, but hey, I'm just, that's just what I have to say about that. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, more people talking about it. This game's impossible unless you grind 20 hours a day or have a ton of disposable income. Just not true. A lot of people have been saying this for years, that people boycott packs and boycott spending money on this game, that the game's going to get better. That's not the case either. Yeah, this is another good point too, is a lot of people act like because one single card isn't attainable, like this pink diamond T-Mac, a lot of us can't get this card even if we wanted to. Wouldn't be a good idea to get him even if you did have 4 million MT. But a lot of people act, and it's always been like this. A lot of people act like if every single card isn't accessible in the entire game, then the entire game mode is an L, which I don't understand that. So I think that this was a good point by this guy. A lot of people continuing to complain about the odds when pack odds are legitimately not even close to the worst that we've ever seen. I mean, we're seeing diamonds at a 2% chance. I mean, so many packs have dropped in the past where the top two tiers are sub 1 or sub 2, whatever. These pack odds aren't even close to the worst that we've ever seen, man. I don't know why people keep running with that. People talking about we need triple threat. I do agree. We need triple threat and clutch time back as individual game modes. Online specifically. Now, I've been playing a lot of triple threat online in the park. It's actually been funner than I expected, and I think that's just because the gameplay is way better than it was last year. I think that there's a lot of people, though, we're talking about casuals again here, that don't realize that you can go and play triple threat how it used to be in the park. They think the park is just kind of how park works in my career or my player, where you just use your player or your card and then you match up with other people. And that has some issues for sure. We'll talk about that in just a second here. But I don't think that there's people that realize that you can play triple threat how it used to be online. And that's a 2K issue because 2K needs to advertise kind of their game modes and stuff that is available in the game better, because there's casuals that log in that don't watch YouTube videos, whatever the case may be, that don't know that things are available that are available in the game, right? Now, do I miss the ball drop? Yes. The ball drop, the ladder ranking where once you got up to 8, 9, or 10 wins without getting 3 losses, you could get some really good rewards. You could get some cards. The ball drop is one of the things that I miss the most. And Triple Threat Online was, of course, kind of the biggest thing was the ball drop. Like everyone just kind of, the ball drop, Triple Threat Online, those things kind of went hand in hand. And when that was gone, the ball drop, I mean, it progressively got worse until it was just completely gone. So that kind of sucks. I wish that the ball drop was the way it was from like 2K20 until 2K22. It was such a W. I totally missed that. Because now we're looking at a situation where, yes, you can get an Arrival Deluxe pack for a 10 win streak, but 3 separate times, I kid you not, I got to an 8 win streak, another 8-win streak, and then a 9-win streak. So I missed out by a total of 5 games 3 times on getting that Arrival Deluxe pack. You should be able to take a loss or two and still get that Arrival Deluxe pack. And that was how the ball drop worked. You didn't have to go on a streak. You could take 1 or 2 losses, man. Because sometimes, playing all those games and stuff, you get either outmatched by an absolute sweat or you get matched up with an absolute sweat. And at that point, you're so sick of sweating that you're just like, okay, just take this game, man. You can have it. I see that you're more hungry for this win than me. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. So I really think that with these streak rewards in Park, they need to make it so that you can take a loss or two. I think that would be a major W. I really, really do. I think that So, yeah, and let's talk about Park, just the actual, like, not the triple threat, not the full line of triple threat games, but the traditional Park games where you run one card and you match up with either a squad or randoms. The amount of people, because if you go and match up with someone that's on a streak on a court, right, it's usually going to be a group of 3 that's playing together that's got a pretty good squad, or a squad that has been there for a while that's going to be pretty good. The amount of people, like, I'll be using like Pink Diamond Zebo, Pink Diamond Most Malone. I'll get a Clay to come and join me, or I'll join a Clay. It's good to have a Clay on your team when you have a big. And then the amount of times that this happened, I was actually getting somewhat angry. That show up with a free agent Allen Iverson, a free agent Larry Bird, and they are just an absolute bot. And they pretty much completely throw the game because they're trying to dribble the heck out of the ball. They're getting the ball stolen. They're taking contested shots. Like, bro. I mean, it's to the point now where if I see a free agent Larry Bird, free agent Allen Iverson, any of those kind of cards like that, I just leave the team. I don't even care if I'm going to have to wait to play with some other people. It's just so troll. It really is, and that was actually starting to make me upset. And I'm sorry if you're someone that uses a card like that, you're a beginner or whatever. You can get a way better card than that by playing the game for like 30 minutes to an hour. But people don't know how. People don't know what cards are available or whatever, so it is an issue. I get it. But yeah, the amount of times that happened, I mean, Pink Diamond free agent AIs, they're just bots, man. Just absolute bots that throw the game. But anyway, yeah, people saying I haven't spent a dime and I've got Sigma, Rice, and Kid. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that too, and that's a major W. A lot of people saying that you need to spend thousands of dollars for cards. So let's use Pink Diamond T-Mac for example, right? He's about 4 million MT to lock in. If you open up a 51 pack box of these Dunktober Wild Gems packs, I'm not saying you should do this. I'm not condoning pack opening, whatever. But I do think the amount that needs to be spent for certain cards is getting over exaggerated. So if you opened up 10 51 pack boxes, and this is without pulling anything good, if you didn't get a single pull in 10 51 pack boxes, each 51 pack box is going to be the equivalent on average, without pulling anything good, of about 400 KMT once you sell everything. This has been proven. This is how it's been since the start of the game. MT is a lot easier to get than it ever has been because every card has value. You're looking at about an average of 400K MT back per box if you sell everything. Now, if you're opening up 10 boxes, which is $1,000, chances are you're going to eventually pull something good. And with that being said, I don't see a case where you would ever have to spend multiple thousands of dollars to get a card, even if it is T-Mac, who's the most expensive card in the game. So I just think that it gets over-exaggerated, the amount that you need to spend to get good cards. And I think, obviously these lock-in cards are super expensive, but there's so many good attainable cards for affordable prices, man. It's actually crazy. And another thing I want to get at too is with the agenda cards. I think that my team, how it is set up right now, with how easy MT is to get, you have more freedom in the game than you've ever had. And let me explain why. We all know how many cards are available at every tier. MT is the easiest it's ever been to get. Does that drive up the price of Pink Diamonds? Yes. Every other tier, though, without there being, meta agenda cards that you need to get. There's only a few really good amethysts in the promos. There's only a few really good cards, which is what we've seen in the past with this game, right? But now with how easy MT is to get, the freedom that you have in my team this year to create whatever random squad you want to create is better than it's ever been. And I would have thought that that would have been like a good thing in theory. I think it's a good thing. I think it's great how it's like that this year. But a lot of people just log into my team, I think, and want to go to agendas and be told what to do and see that there's a card available in the agendas, and they just don't. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with people that just don't understand what's available on the market, because like there's 4,000 plus cards available right now, and that is more cards than have by far that have ever been available at this point in the year. So more people talking about spending thousands to get anything. I just don't see how that's a thing. Everyone playing off ball online makes the game no fun. If you just practice for a little bit, you can deal with people who play off ball, man. And yes, everyone does play off ball, but it's just you got to figure out how to, keep. And that's another thing. This generation of gamers, and I'm sorry if you're having trouble winning online. I totally get it. I have trouble winning in a 5-on-5 setting in Showdown sometimes, because I am not a person who's going to run plays. I'm not a person who's going to mess with my defensive settings for 30 minutes. I struggle to win in game modes like Showdown sometimes. I still obviously have a positive record, and I'm still pretty decent at it. But as far as triple threat, I feel like I'm pretty good. Like in a full lineup triple threat game, my record right now overall, because I've been grinding the last couple of days, is probably like 35 and like 4, 35 and 5, somewhere around there. So pretty decent. But this generation of gamers, and I see this with games like Fortnite as well, with the addition of bots and everything. When I was a kid and I got someone beat the crap out of me in an online setting, or somebody, like I just get absolutely sweated on. This generation of kids, the instinct is to turn off the game and say that the game is bad. But when that happened to me as a kid, I would be like, respect, dude. Like, you're really, really good at the game. I'm going to work to get better. And I don't know where we lost that in the community of game. I really don't. And maybe some of you, guys that are a little bit older can relate to that, because that's definitely how it was. You would get, sweated on. They're cheating. Cheating is such an issue in every game in this day and age. But cheating really wasn't an issue back in like the days of like Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And there was cheaters out there, sure, but I think that there wasn't nearly as many. First of all, because people didn't really know how to do it, and second of all, because it just wasn't a thing. It wasn't even nearly as much of a thing as it is now. Like, and I've gone back and played Black Ops 2, and it's just absolutely rife with cheaters, just like most Call of Duty titles and most games in general. So that's a whole nother issue, that whole nother separate issue. But yeah, it's now at a stage where kids get sweated on and they turn off the game. Where in my generation, get sweated on, respect, I'm going to get better so that I can be as good as you. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on that point specifically. A lot of people talking about how cards are 5 times as expensive as they ever have been. Well, it's because MT is 5 times as easy to get as it ever has been. And I hate to break it to you, but a lot of these complaints are just because they don't understand how a market works. There are people that will look at a card like this Pink Diamond Mellow, and this is the only card that they care about getting. So what are they going to do? They're going to sell their entire collection for 2 million MT, whatever they've accumulated throughout grinding the game since the start, and buy this Mellow. I used to do this. I was somebody who used to do this. All I would care about was getting one specific card, because then he would carry me in triple threat. There's still people that do this, and that is why cards like this are so expensive. That's why people that already have a pretty decent team and have 500K are having trouble getting cards like this. Whereas if they sold their whole team, they could afford a card like this. And that's just how the market works in 2K. And I kind of want to make some more market videos, because the amount of people that don't even really know about the wild gems, don't understand the market, like it's just, I mean, obviously, I'm a market connoisseur, and I know a lot of other people aren't. A lot of people just like to play the game. But yeah, I don't know. I think that that's more just not really understanding. To get rid of unauctionable cards, completely agree. Unauctionable cards, most non-consumer friendly thing that they've ever added. Um, More people talking about how. So this is another guy complaining about Sapphire Shack. Okay, that's two people that have complained about Sapphire Shack. We need to see how much Sapphire Shack costs. We just absolutely have to at this point, because if two people are talking about this one specific card, bruh, 15,000 MT, and you're complaining about the cost of, dog. I don't even. If you're having issues getting 15K MT, I'm sorry, but you should probably go find a different game to play. I mean, because 15K MT is like pennies. I mean, let's be real. I know that I don't have that much MT right now, but it's because I haven't really been trying to make MT. I've been playing online game modes. I've got, millions of MT in my collection. And if I wanted to, obviously I already have 15K, but if I wanted to take my 40K to 55K, I could do it in like less than 30 minutes. So I just, yeah, I don't know about that one, man. People talking about how these motor wars are going to be useless next season. Well, I don't think that that is the case. I think that Jack Sigma is going to be good and very, very usable until about Christmas time. And even beyond that, if you have him badged up and stuff. I really, really do. So I think that these cards are worth the grind. The game mode is for card collecting. They make it impossible to get cards. Every card diamond or lower is attainable. Auction House has so little cards. Some cards you see once or twice a week. Well, so on average, we've got about a little over 600 packs being opened an hour, and there are over 4,000 cards pullable if you're looking at a pack drop where wild gems are also pullable. So that means that every 4 hours, we're looking at about, let's be generous and say 2,500 packs are getting opened every 4 hours, which isn't even the amount of cards that are in the game. So yeah, I mean, there is a good chance that if you search for one specific card out of 4 or 5, he may not be available at that specific time that you're looking to buy that specific card. So that whole complaint I keep seeing too, and that's again relates back to people just not understanding the market, not understanding how many cards are actually available. I have 400K and I don't know what to buy with it. Okay, let's go look. I'll show you what you need to go and buy with 400K. Go and get yourself Charlie Scott as your point guard. He's like 70 or 80K, unless he's gone up a little bit. I don't know why the pictures aren't loading. I apologize for that, but yeah, go and get Charlie Scott as your point guard. Go and get either Lamont Murray as your shooting guard, or Billy Knight is a really good shooting guard as well. Those guys are both under 100K. As your small forward, you could run Kiki Vandeweghe right here. He's a really, really good option. You can get Mike Dunleavy. You can go ahead and go get... Those are probably the two best options. There's a ton more, though, that I'm just forgetting. And then in at your power forward position, how much is Willis Reed going for? I know he's a little bit expensive. He's probably went up a little bit. Well, there's a few up. So if you can go ahead and get Willis Reed and you want him to be like your best card, go ahead and get him, because this card is absolutely insane. I mean, this card for anywhere under 200K, I'd probably pick him up. But there are a lot of other power forwards as well that you can get for under 100K MT that are going to be very, very good for you, man. So, like even this Juwan Howard card, I haven't seen anybody talk about this card. This card's pretty good. This Kevin Willis card is a really, really good big for under 100K. You can make a really good team of Diamond Wild Gems for under 400K MT, man. I mean, you really, really can. That's just the way that it is, man. Okay. Okay, and this kind of gets into the point again, too, where I think that people are making ranking videos, right? Whether it's the top 10 point guards or a shooting guard tier list or a power forward tier list, and doing something that I really don't understand. They will talk about a card, and this is going to happen with T-Mac as well. So say we're doing a power forward tier list, right? They put Kevin Garnett up in S tier that will say he's the best power forward in the game. and really not say anything else about it, not even talk about, how expensive he is. You have to lock in MT to get him and stuff, which everybody kind of knows that, but I'm sure there are casuals that do not know that. And then they won't even go ahead and mention some of these wild gem pink diamonds that are a third of the price and going to be pretty much just as good. I mean, if you guys want to go watch my Moses Malone gameplay, I absolutely cooked on Jack Sigma, and I've been continuing to have so much success with this card. Same with Zach Randolph. These cards are not going to completely break your entire bank. I mean, 607K MT, that's a lot of MT, yes, but it's about a third of the price of Kevin Garnett, and both of these cards are going to give you 95 to 99% of what Kevin Garnett is going to give you. And people are not including cards like this on tier lists. And I've even heard people say, oh, these cards don't even exist. Well, I mean, and then we're just going to gas up Kevin Durant or Kevin Garnett and act like he, exists, where he's 3 times the price. And sure, some of these cards maybe you won't see on the auction house every once in a while because there's maybe 10 or 20 pink diamond wild gems in the auction house at a specific time. Maybe there will be times where you look and there isn't an Xavier McDaniel on the auction house. But I bet if you look the next day or the day after, there will be one. So it's not like these cards don't exist. I mean, they definitely do exist, man. And it just gets back to that whole thing when we talked about with there's so many pullable cards, so sometimes you won't see a specific card. I don't understand why people are talking about Embiid and Garnett on tier lists and ranking videos and gassing them up to the moon and not even talking about how hard they are to get and everything. And then cards like Karl Malone, cards like X-Man, Zach Randolph, Kelly Tripucka, Latrell Sprewell, Paul Millsap, um, Caron Butler, Brad Miller. All of these cards are so good, man. And you can buy them and sell them back. That is the key. This MT, if you want to get these pink diamond wild gems, is not locked in. And I'm sure that there has been at least somebody who's gotten one of these power forward pink diamonds and locked him in as well as another million MT to get Kevin Garnett or Embiid. And it's just like, why would you do that? Sure, Moses Malone doesn't have a 3-ball. If you're looking for a center with a 3-ball, go and get Brad Miller. Sure, Zebo's only 6'9" at the power forward position. It doesn't matter. He's an absolute bully. I don't understand why no one is and it goes with Diamond Wild Gems too. There's a specific subset of these Diamond Wild Gems that for whatever reason just get hyped to the moon, and then 75% of them don't even get talked about. Whereas I would say about 75% of these Diamond Wild Gems are usable. The only ones that aren't usable are these small point guards, and then there's a few big men that are really bad as well. But I just don't understand it, man. And maybe it's laziness. I don't know. And you could throw this back at me too, because I haven't made any ranking videos on these wild gems. Like, I've talked about them a lot for sure, but we need more people talking about these wild gems, man, because they're the smartest cards to buy. They're way cheaper than the promo cards, and some of them are just as good as the promo cards. So that gets back to that whole point as well. Somebody saying that Naz Reid, Obi Toppin, and Julius Randle are better than Diamond Zion. Obi Toppin Amethyst is really, really good, but I don't think Naz Reid or Julius Randle are better than Zion. And that's just because after playing in an online setting for a couple of days, rim running is so important. If you have a card that can dunk over people, you're going to dominate in a park setting. And sure, everyone's, going to talk about, oh, this card's too small, the small forward or power forward. That's only specifically for Showdown. For every other game mode, that literally doesn't even matter. Because in an offline setting, it doesn't matter, and in park, it doesn't matter. You can have this Zion get unpluckable on him, whatever. You can run him as your point. So, I don't know. Let's see what we got here. So nice to be able to get 5 of the best cards for 1 million MT. You can still make a heck of a lineup for 1 million MT. And the reason you can't get 5 of the best cards for 1 million MT is because 1 million MT in 2K22, I don't know, people forget how hard it was to get it 1 million MT in 2K22. You would have to grind like a whole season without even spending MT on everything to get 1 million MT. And now I bet if I did that, or if anybody else did that, grinded this entirety of season 1 without spending a penny of MT, would have over 5 million MT. Seriously, I believe that is the case. And if not 5 million, pretty close to it. So It's just people aren't taking into account with the market that stuff is more expensive because MT is easier to get. More people saying that it takes thousands of dollars to get the cards you want. Okay. Well, I think that about does it for the comments. Is there anything else that we want to talk about? God, I don't really think so. It's kind of the same thing with All-Star Team Up. Like Triple Threat Park and All-Star Team Up, if you just go in and play with randoms, you're going to get free agents on your team, and it's going to be a rough time. Because you're going to match up with someone who's on a win streak, and it's just kind of an L. The most success I've had playing All-Star Team Up or Triple Threat Park online is playing a full lineup Triple Threat game. Yes, people are going to off-ball, but just keep screening, hit the roller off the screen, keep your guys moving on offense. You can't be stagnant with the ball. That would be my best tip in a Triple Threat full lineup game. You need to keep your guys moving at all times. Someone will be open on a cut. Someone will be open in the corner. Just keep doing that. It doesn't matter how good your opponent is. Someone will eventually get open. And then on defense, yes, go ahead and off ball, man, because that's the most effective way to play defense. That's why people do it. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But anyway, hope that you guys enjoyed the video, man. I hope that this wasn't too much rambling. I hope I didn't rehash too much on points that I've made in the past. I tried to kind of talk about new things, take a different approach, I guess you could say. But if you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. Also, please make sure to leave a like on the video, man, before you guys head on out. That really, really helps me out a ton. Gets my videos out to the algorithm. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys, man. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next vid.